How about you?
Doing good. Good, thanks. Anyone traveling today, or are you guys all back home?
No, I got home yesterday.
Good.
Me and Terry also back home from a trip this week.
Daniel, do you say you and Terry were together?
Yes, sir. We were at Brady on Monday and Tuesday.
Right. The Brady move?
Yes.
Right. Right. And the rest of the team, I think you're all home this week, right?
Yeah, I'm home this week. Next week I'll be going.
Yeah, I'm home.
Same here for me.
Okay, great. Who are we missing? Eric is not on. And the other guys from DVC and Nick and Alexandro, but we can get going here. Hey, let's do this. Let's get an update on the activities you guys are working on, like what's been what the trips you did this week and anything else you're working on, and then we'll take a look at the next few weeks. And William, let's pull up the Excel sheet in a little bit, and then we'll put down the forecast, how we foresee it for the next few weeks, and we can do it live and make sure we're all aware of what's going on. But before we get to that point, let's I'd like to listen in and see how things are going, and we'll start with William. William, can you take us through this week with My US and any other customers that you guys were able to visit them, please?
Sure, but let me start with the other one. So I did a site analysis at EOS, which is Enterprise Order Solutions. A couple weeks ago, we put in a data request, and we're still working on getting that from the customer. They finally got it back from their in-house IT group, and now we're just trying to get it transferred from EOS to us, and then I'll be able to finish up that report. We'll probably be looking at putting in some type of outbound sortation system with DWS and Panda at that facility. So that should be coming up here soon. I also did a site analysis at 4 Over in Glendale, California. I'll probably start on that report here shortly. Not a lot of deliverables from our side on that one. They are having a lot of problems with surcharges from UPS, but they have an existing dimensioner, scale, and Panda system. They're just not using it on the outbound side. So our first recommendation is to start utilizing it. So yeah, and then this week we visited 3 different customers.
William,
the first one, yes.
Yeah, sorry to stop you there. For those 2 that you did, I heard about EUS and then the 4 Over. So for those, do we have them on our tracking project or ongoing activities?
Well, they don't have individual pages. I haven't been creating individual pages for the site analysis.
Yeah, it's
but
okay.
I can keep a running log of the ones we're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. let's see. Let's take a minute and look at it live so everybody gets to see what we're talking about, and then we'll get into a rhythm. If we don't have it there, then we can add it in and put in at least the high level um, activities. Like I'm hearing there's a trend, and we've seen this. William, you always brought it up that there seem to be a lot of DWS and Panda systems for the most part. Maybe there's others, but that's the most trending ones. So if we take a look at our Mosaic page, and then we look at the overall track and project flow, if we can just put that in there, the details can come in later. Some of this might not come through or whatever, but I just like to have an idea of, like I said, from high level, we can say it's a system or data integration, or it's systems or automation. Are you able to pull it up, or you want me to do that? The Mosaic.
You're talking about the flow board?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got the flow board up.
Okay.
So yeah, here it is.
Okay.
But yeah,
perfect.
as I mentioned, I haven't been putting the analysis on the flow board, but as we get the actual projects that follow on that start playing into our group, that's when we would start a page for them.
Yeah, I'd like to have them here, just from a high level. Like if you put them, it's upcoming, investigating. You want to put him under execution?
Well, we've got the CorrectRx PO
Correct.
in-house
Yeah.
already.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Yeah,
this one would go to execution.
Exactly. And then let's take that one for example, right? I know this is ad hoc, but it's as good for the rest of the team. Everyone can do this. The granular level, it can follow later on, and whoever is leading that project can take care of it. But this one, so it's DWS and Panda. That's good. My US should be already there, but yeah, I'll let you finish that one. What else do we put in? Maybe put in who's
Yeah, I mean,
leading that one, right?
I'll come back and
Okay.
put some stuff in there, but I mean, PCA is leading this one. I believe Daniel is going to be assisting with that. Is that correct, Celine?
So this one, for the most part, they're leading, but I would say we're co-leading on the on multiple things. And what I mean by that is Randall will be doing the offline program, like the API, and then Daniel will be working alongside with them, and then they both will be testing that up in Bloomington, and then Daniel will take care of the execution.
That might not happen. So we've been having some meetings with the customer, and they really want this sooner rather than later. So there's been talk about, instead of installing it up or getting it up and running in Bloomington, they want it there as soon as possible, even if that means it doesn't change the time frame. So, but yeah, that's
recent. This was like
yes.
a couple of days ago. So you guys must have talked yesterday, or I don't know.
Yeah,
If you,
we've
Daniel,
had a couple of calls this weekend or this week talking about it. Probably need to start getting Daniel involved in those.
It would be great, yes, because internally that's the game plan. Either way, we're supporting it. I would say it's true to say yes, PCA is leading, and we are supporting. And then this fits under the pilot business model. Once we get a repeat of these, say another customer with DWS or Panda, we will play a lead role. But that high level of what you kept there is good enough for this. And yes, on a side note, please include Daniel. I think you need to be listening in and part of these meetings since you're leading that effort from our side on the correct RX.
Yes, because PCI is still planning to do the bolt on in Savage, and that was
This
yesterday
was
when we had those meetings.
that's what I mean. It was yesterday or the day before. But so who's on the call with the customer? Isn't Charlie or Jed or anybody from PCA with you guys, William?
I don't believe PCA made the meeting. I think we had a meeting. Pulling up my schedule. I know we had a phase 2 meeting yesterday. I think it was at the end of last week is when we had it was last Friday we had the meeting with Correct RX, and that's when they started complaining about the lead time and getting this in before. They have 60 new facilities that are getting ready to go live, and they really want to get this outbound Panda system in before that happens.
Okay. Yeah, if this was last Friday, I'm concerned that, or I would say PCA are not aware of that, because they're planning for, when we looked up the schedule, this what it was, and the entire thing was planned to be put together. They have Metro Toledo coming down and the conveyor section with Birkins and what have you. So it's all laid out for pre-assembly, and that might be a game changer. So maybe you want to connect the dots there.
Eric has been, so Eric Leach is the CPM Pro PM. He was tasked with getting the actual delivery dates on all of the equipment and, putting that plan together for the install, being at Correct RX instead of Bloomington. So I haven't heard what the outcome of that was. Actually, I think that happened on Monday is when the UPS group, tasked Eric with that.
Okay. So Eric, this might be already communicated, and maybe they worked out the timing where it matches the Correct RX timeline. But that's more communication among the team. So for us, we primarily have Daniel, and we will pull in Terry when we get to the point where we're ready to go on site, because Terry, that would be local to you. That's in Charlotte or close enough to Charlotte. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's in Maryland. It's in Maryland.
Oh, not so much.
In Baltimore.
Okay.
Oh,
on the same coast.
I thought that's what John told me. John and Ivy, they both thought that this is in. Wait a second. I'm sorry. I'm confusing the project.
That's Amazon.
Which is a good problem. No, never mind. I got mixed up. This is a different one. Sorry about that. We'll come to the Amazon one in a little bit. So.
Okay.
So Correct RX will be, I think we're looking at the end of May is the install date, whether that's in Bloomington or Baltimore. That's somewhat up in the air. The customer wants it to happen on site and not off site and then redone. So we're probably going to end up moving that way just to keep them happy, because we just presented them the phase 2 Bombay sorter yesterday, just a high-level concept introduction. So we're kind of trying to keep them happy while we sent them a concept of $4 million for phase 2, and you want to keep them engaged and potentially grab that one as well.
Okay. Do you guys think that it would be feasible, and would they be is there a need for that one this year or for phase 2?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They need it. They're going to start working on the ROI for it, and we've got a couple of things. Bruce has been tasked with coming up with the operations criteria so that they can help with the ROI, with the manpower reduction. But yeah, they would want that this year, I believe, is what their goal would be. And I think we've got it's like a 6-month lead time on it. So if it happens, it'll be potentially this year. I mean, they would want it, but like I said, we're still in that very beginning stages of scoping out the phase 2, and we gave them just a high level overview of, this is what the sortation system would look like. This is how it would roughly operate. It would definitely increase their throughput through their facility, and probably see a drastic reduction in manpower. But it's the low level manpower that they'd be seeing a reduction in. So, but it would definitely help them long term.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So this CorrectRx, just like the MyUS and other ones, it's a very strategical fit, and we have a potential moving from phase 1 to 2 and build on that, just like what we did with MyUS. So that's good. That's good to hear. Yeah, and this one we have the PO, so this is ongoing, and there might be some prioritizations. So and that, for us, we're good. We're up for it, and I think we're marching towards a good plan there. Daniel, while we're on this one, CorrectRx, do you want to say anything?
No, I'm waiting for that timing, and as soon as we get that updated plan on where we need to do the install, we'll jump in on that.
Okay. And Daniel, as we learned for the other activities, as we will add it in here in a little bit, seems like the scheduling will be might be overlapping. So let's see how we progress for the other ones, and for the rest of the team, it'll make sense when we enlist those other projects. And this is more for awareness, and we just want to be flexible. We seem to have a few activities coming on. We just learned about a couple this week, so we wanna include them there in a little bit, William. But it's more we just want to be agile with it and flexible around timing. But that's all good stuff. That's what we were waiting for. So we'll keep that in mind, and we'll do a good job of allocating and supporting those activities, and balance it out. That's key, to balance it among the team. Okay, William. So that's one, CorrectRx. I see you put in the EOS, and that one you said you did already the site survey, correct?
Yeah, I went out and spent the time on site. I've got the majority of the report written. As I said, I'm waiting on the data sample that I requested from the customer. They had to go back to China, who developed they have an in-house WMS. So they went back to China to get the data sample, and I heard from the customer and UPS yesterday that they've got the data sample back. There might be a few inconsistencies with it or problems, but we'll work through that. And we're trying to figure out how to get it from the customer to us. They sent out a link to share it with us, but good old sick IT blocked our access to the site that they were trying to share it with. UPS did the same thing. So the UPS is working with the customer to get that data. The customer is actually driving back from the Houston warehouse back to California as of yesterday. I assume they'll probably be driving today as well. So we may not get that data until this weekend when he gets back to California. But we're working on that, and UPS has asked me to hold my report until we get that data sample so that we can use the data to help, justify that a sortation system with a DWS and Panda could help them quite a bit.
Okay.
But the outcome
right.
of that one is us recommending that they put in a conveyor system that will sort the packages to the carrier and add the shipping labels. So that's probably be the path forward that we take from the report.
Okay. So if we look just at those two, right? Corrector X, there's a DWS, there's a Panda, and I think there's an inbound section there.
That's phase two.
That's phase two. So if we look at the EOS, right? If that comes through, there's an outbound system, that conveyor, the sortation piece you're talking about, and then there's the DWS and Panda. So that's the common two things. Now, when Daniel would be working on Corrector X, we'll execute that one. When we move on to the EOS, that's where we will pull in other team members, or maybe we have somebody shadow or work around for Corrector X. And then we move on to EOS, we will play a lead role, and we will be already upskilled with it. There might be an interface with that. I learned you saying they have their own WMS system, so that's where we always interface and work with PCA. They'll help with the API and all that, but then we'll take on everything else, and that's that flow. I'm just wanting you guys to see how that's flowing and how we're growing that team so we can support those activities. So just again, this is how we're seeing this moving, and it's good. It's a good thing. So the trainings we've had, and nothing is better than hands-on training to support those activities.
Exactly.
Yeah. So William, just for me to gauge on those, like if we talk on this EOS, and I know it's probably hard right now to guesstimate it, but just from what we know, is it fair to say this is what, like a 300 to 400,000 project as we see it? I'm comparing it to Corrector X. It could be off, but
yeah. Well, Corrector X is just the Panda system with the DWS. EOS is going to need more conveyor than that. So I'm guessing it's probably going to be, somewhere around the $400,000 to $500,000 mark, depending on which direction we go with the outbound system. EOS has some concerns about us, using up too much of their floor space. There is the option to go and add a mezzanine and have the sortation all take place up there. But again, that'll drive the cost up, and it really depends on how we work with them after my report comes up to see how we can lay this out to have a minimal impact on their floor space. Although in a perfect world we wouldn't need the floor space. Once the product came off of the sorter, it would go directly into the truck. But as we all know, within the last year with all this COVID nonsense, there were a lot of issues with shipping, not just at EOS, but a lot of customers, UPS couldn't provide enough trucks, couldn't get the proper pickups. And, the impact that it had on EOS is they had their entire shipping area full of pallets waiting to go out on the trucks, but they had no trucks to put them on. So they're really concerned right now, if we ate up that real estate and they weren't able to get a truck in, where do they put all of these outbound shipments while they wait for a truck? So it's just things that we'll have to keep in mind and, win the customer over once we start putting that project together and working on the scope and the budget for that project. We'll have to just manage those expectations, and we've identified those early on while I was on site, and all of that will get passed over to the project team, which right now is pretty much Bruce. He'll come in, come up with a high-level concept, and then we'll reach out to the vendors and start getting the quotes.
Okay. Okay. Very good. All right. So that's for EOS.
Yeah.
Seems like
the next one was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the next one was 4 over. I did the site analysis last week. I haven't started on the report because I was on the road again this week. But I don't see a lot of deliverables for, follow-on projects at 4 over at this point. There's just not going to be a return on investment for them. The biggest thing that they're going to be able to do is potentially use their existing equipment to, manage some of those surcharges that they had in the building 2. And, there may be a play for us to come in and help with that, but I would not recommend that we did that. I mean, they have a SICK dimensioner, a Cubiscan scale, a Panther, Panda. Everything is operational. They told me that they collect the data internally. I don't know why they're not using it to generate the shipping label. But my contacts at 4 over, they kind of gave me the impression that they've been pushing for that internally and nobody's been listening to them. So they were really excited that, my first recommendation is to use the equipment they already have. It's a novel concept apparently.
Yeah.
If they have issues with that system and getting it up and running, I told them the second option they had is we could come in and, install a new DWS and Panda. But there's not going to be a big justification for that unless they can't get their existing equipment functioning properly.
Yeah. No, that's a good one there, William, and that's how we are, right? And you're doing the exact right things. It's something they just maybe not fully aware of it, or they just need to work with their current stuff and leverage the existing or exhaust what they have as existing, and that's what we always tend to do and want to do with the customers, and truly be their trusted advisor. And that'll sit with them, right? That it might not be today, but it'll be where they might come back and say, hey, we have this issue, can you help us with it? And that even grows where they ask us for things that it's not even in our wheelhouse, but that's the intimacy, and that's what the service we owe for the customers, right? So that's awesome. I mean, that's exactly how we want to do it. And business will come. So that's all good. So appreciate you doing
I mean,
that.
the group that hired us to come out and perform this analysis was really in charge of the shipping and outbound processes. I did identify that they could potentially change some of their their workflows to see some improvements, but that would be more the operations group. But they were, pretty excited about, maybe passing that off, and have mentioned that, maybe we do a presentation with the operations side and see if, the Six Sigma approach to manufacturing would benefit the operations group. And if so, that would be a second site analysis where we would go out and actually dive more into the processes and, the different steps that they had, and make sure that they're looking at, throughput, looking for any choke points, bottlenecks within their processes, because their layout is pretty complex. I mean, the decisions that they make are all based off of the order, and the path that the order takes is determined by, what the customer requested. I guess I should start with 4Over as a printing company. So they print business cards and flyers and yard signs.
Okay.
So really, it depends on one, what the customer ordered and all the options that they wanted. That really dictates the path through the process that the item takes. But yeah, I mean, there could be a lot of optimization in that process. They have a lot of material, sitting in staging areas waiting to be processed, because the flow is a little more complex, and I don't think they're looking at it as from a process side and scheduling orders based off of, expected availability of cutting machines or press machines, or, the extra flourishes that may go in. It kind of just sits there and waits until somebody decides they're going to work on that one next. But that's would be a further project, and that would probably be a lot more in depth than a week on site with two separate buildings. So we'd have to narrow that down.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's good. And based on what you're saying and what you have told them, I'm certain they'll bring you back for more details, and they'll ask all the other probe questions. So that's great. Thank you for that one. Anything else on your end, William, as far as the upcoming site surveys? There's the Hibbett one, right?
Actually, the Hibbett one got canceled.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it got canceled Wednesday night at like 9 o'clock at night. Emails started going back and forth. I'm kind of letting the UPS team dig into why it's getting canceled. But based off of the email traffic that I've seen back and forth with all of the changes they've had in leadership, and it seems like things are pretty upside down there right now. They at first they just wanted to cancel it altogether, but it sounds like UPS is trying to, keep it on the books and just push it out until things calm down. But yeah, so as of right now, it is off the table. If UPS can talk them into doing it at a later date, maybe we'll do it. But yeah, Hibbett's out for now. This past week, I traveled with the UPS sales group. Al Cedino, who is one of the directors at UPS, Robert Kellis, who's our UPS account executive for UPS, and Bruce Muir, who's our interlogistics mastermind. We hit 3 different facilities. The first one was Monarch. They are pretty much like a startup pharmaceutical type company. They are actually producing a couple of different COVID testing kits that they're actually going to manufacture there in Ocala, Florida. They're actually building up all of the equipment to build these different kits up and get them shipped out. And they're probably looking at a conveyor system with, I don't know if we're going to do a DWS because all of their products are going to be somewhat similar, but they'll probably have a Panda. There may be a case packer, and they've got, you know, grant money. So the sky's the limit on this one. And as I mentioned, you know, they bought a brand new building. They're building all these clean rooms, and basically we would take the material from the clean room out to outbound shipping. But that one looks like it could have some potential for a follow-on project. In fact, I saw some email traffic this morning. We got a high-level concept that Bruce threw together that we can put in front of them that shows them the overall layout of what we could do. Trying to see where it was in my email. But yeah, so we've got that potential. The second facility we went to was Mercedes Scientific, just south of Tampa. They're another pharmaceutical company, somewhat like a 3PL. You know, they provide microscopes and the little trays that you use for microscopes, you know, medical supplies, not so much medicine. It's more the supplies. They have a lot of hazmat that they ship out of there, and they're looking, you know, to grow from a $80 million business to a $100 million business here with an acquisition or two. So they're looking to improve their pick process, and but their problems seem to stem more from the homemade WMS that they have. It's just not quite capable of being flexible for them. So that's probably going to be the direction they go. The third facility we hit was MyUS.
William, did you say there's the one you called Mercedes something, or?
Yeah, Mercedes Scientific is the name of the company.
Okay, and it's a pharmaceutical one?
It's a medical supply company. Okay. I mean, they sell, you know, chemicals to doctors' offices, gloves, you know, all the materials you'd find in the doctor's office. You know, the tongue suppressors, the throat Q-tip things. You know, all of that type of stuff is what Mercedes Scientific provides, and they provide it for a large number of doctors' offices and hospitals across the country.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And the third one you were saying, the MyUS, right?
Yeah, so MyUS, so we have the PO in hand for phase 3 and 4, which is the inbound sortation and the warehouse sortation. Probably looking at somewhere around the June install on that one. I've been going back and forth with John Lopes, who is the CPM Pro PM, about getting that equipment on order already. I mean, we've had the PO for 2 weeks. I don't know why we haven't ordered it yet, because that's really what sets our project, is getting the conveyor material on ordered. They've got like a 10-12 week lead time. So working on that, we talked with them about, you know, the different options for the HMI interface. We're doing a OCR portion for this one. And there was a Joe something from SICK up in Bloomington. He's with the PCA group. He was out there pulling images, so that we can have some examples for the OCR portion, and we can get that inbound sortation done. But we kind of just walked through with the customer, high level, what phase 3 and 4 was going to look like. And while we were there, their VP of operations kind of mentioned to us that they've got approval from their board to put in an ASRS. So we started talking to them about that. That'd probably be like a phase 5 thing, or I don't know how they're going to keep calling these phases. But yeah, Bruce is looking at bidding an ASRS system for them. So that's going to be those things start like $1.5 million just to get started. So that'll be another large project. And my US wants to get that installed this year as well. So it's going to be exciting times at my US. They're investing a lot of money into automation. They're
that's
they call it their
transformational
PEG
for them
group.
with all this that's going on. And
they're
William, what about the one project they had with this other company that didn't go too well?
Cubiscan?
Yeah. Is that
They're
stable
still
now,
having issues. Well, they're
Okay.
still having issues with it. Kind of managing through it. That's a conversations and battle that my US and the UPS is having with Cubiscan. We've told them that we could assist, but we're being very cautious about it because we don't want to void the warranty and take over the responsibility of that system. So it's still on the table, but that's happening on the background, and it doesn't seem like they're making much traction on that side.
Okay. So if we look at this, I'm seeing my US is under pending PO. We can move it to execution. Now we have the PO, right? And outside of this, is this something you will be able to execute, William, or we can come back to this if we
potentially.
Need to
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to start working on the timeline. I got to make sure that we've actually put in the order for the conveyor so that I can reach out to Birkin and find out what the actual lead time is from the his suppliers so that we can get all of that stuff constructed, and then we can start looking at the install date. But we're looking at probably going to be around early June at the earliest for the install for phase 3 and 4.
Okay, but outside of the project integration, like you did for phase 1 and 2, isn't there anything for us to do from the DTC side? Like, is there any?
We'll be installing a new camera tunnel in the warehouse for the warehouse sortation. It'll be a 5-sided camera tunnel.
Okay.
So there will be a potential play for us to assist with that install. All of the divert install will probably Birkin will be in charge of it. We'll probably use the same mechanical contractors again, and his team will do the electrical. But yeah, there may be some plays for us to eat up a little bit more of the pie.
Good. Let me throw this one, and we can build on it. Let's say you will plan to lead the project just like phase 1 and 2, and that means you're handling the ordering and all that good stuff, and then more importantly is being on site during these activities. But outside of that, for this 5-sided camera tunnel system, let's take a closer look at it, and I'll work with you. We can connect with Dale on this, and then see if this is like a typical one where I'm just throwing this out there. If they have two LTS personnel, we can say we'll have one LTS and we'll have one engineer from our side. Let it be Terry or Moses. We'll see. I'm just thinking out loud. And then take on a part of that. There'll be a support and then hands-on training, and we can engage on that portion. I don't know if that's where you're going with it or there's something outside of that, but I'd really like to entertain for that and push for it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, once I start putting the timeline together and looking at when we're going to install things, you know, I'll work with John Lopes is our PM from the pro side, and generally he would be the one that I would say, okay, I need you know, the camera install to happen at this time, and then he would reach out to do the scheduling. So I'll know up front when we're going to do it, and you know, I can give you a heads up and let you talk with Dale beforehand, so that you know when it hits him in his queue, when John reaches out to him, Dale will already know about it, and we can you know schedule it. You know, one LTS, one DTC.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that'd be great. Just outside of that, on the camera tunnel, anything else as far as our systems for that phase, or that's primarily it?
Well, like I said, we've got on the inbound side, we have to get the OCR working. PCA is going to handle that. We're adding 3 diverts to the inbound system so that they can pull off certain products. We're looking for a 4-digit address code. If it's getting sorted off, it'll always start with an 8. And there's like 11 different addresses that it could be. So the OCR portion seems like it's going to be somewhat straightforward. It'll always be in the same location, and it doesn't sound like we'll have any problems doing it. But yeah, PCA is working on that programming side of things. There might be, you know, an upgrade to the existing camera tunnel to handle this new OCR portion of it. But from a, you know, high level, you know, the majority of what's going to take place on the inbound side is going to be that OCR software component that PCA is taking care of.
Okay, so here's what we're promoting for and doing generally with the PCA, and I need your everyone's help with this. What I mean by that is the ones that we see there's a repeat, you know, need for it. In other words, the DWS, all these systems, Panda, which is new. I don't know today at OCR what is how much is that out there, and where I'm going with it is we are willing to take the investment or upfront, or do the investment upfront, take the time to learn it, and then in efforts that we will take on the next round and run with it. If it is just a one-off application, we probably, unless it's something we are doing like custom project, it doesn't make much sense. And if it's something that's also covered today with LTS or other colleagues, we also don't want to, you know, interfere with that or conflict. So a good example, again, DWS, Panda, those, and then interfaces with with the WMS. There's always a need, and I think we have a nice game plan. We're marching towards that. We did it last year. We invested the time on multiple fronts, the 3M application with Amazon applications and so on, and now we're seeing this coming through. So it's working out great. I don't know. I'm just picking on that OCR one. I don't know if it fits in that model. If it does, we'll take that on, and I can talk with the PCA guys who are taking care of that one, and see if we have a play and if it makes sense for us to dig into it and start taking over or support before saying taking over. I don't want to, it's not the intent. It's just like we're supporting where it makes sense. So I don't know if you guys know, if you want to say anything about that, William or Daniel or Terry.
I would say that we probably don't want to get into the OCR world.
Okay.
My understanding is OCR, I mean, if you've got a system that's working perfectly, the best you're going to see is like an 80% accuracy in OCR, just because it's not a very good system. You're really
Not
looking
robust.
at decoding.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a very finicky system that has a lot of problems, and personally, that's not something I would want to have to deal with. So I mean, if anybody else wants to step up and play in that area, by all means, let's do it. But from everything I've heard from all of our conversations, OCR is a nightmare that I wouldn't want to get involved in.
Okay. All right. Thank you, William, for that insight. Daniel, what's your perspective on it?
I said historically, SICK wasn't very strong with OCR. I know there's new developments and what they're doing OCR internally now, working on getting OCR to work better on our equipment. But as William also said, the OCR is not the most robust what we had in the past in it, and I know that the big focus what they were working on was to get OCR to work for the airport systems, and it's more of a fallback if the barcode is not readable, that you try and read the OCR as a fallback to get some data out of it for the sorting. It's not the primary system to sort with. But if they, I'm not sure, William, if they are using the SICK OCR or if they're using third-party software on top of our camera for the solution.
I have no idea what they're doing for the solution. I just know that PCA is handling it, and they feel that the information that we're looking for in this particular project is just like a suite number. The address will always be the same, but the suite number is what we're looking for. Apparently that information is not in the barcode, but it'll always be in the same location on the label. It'll always start with the number 8. So our team feels like it's they're pretty confident that they can manage it, and MyUS has been told that we're looking at maybe an 80% accuracy rate, and they say that's good enough. So we're going to move forward with it, but it's not a perfect system, and it seems like it's going to involve a lot of work to get it up to that 80% accuracy.
Okay, so
but it might be good to tag along with PCA, so that we get more exposure. If there's more of these systems coming up, more OCR coming up, that we can maybe help support that.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the only one I've seen for OCR so far.
Yeah. So here's the what I'm getting. In this case, for this specific application, it's wise not to dig into it, or not to step up to any of that. Let the experts handle that portion. If we take it to a broader OCR discussion, and I don't know if you're alluding to the label checker applications, Daniel, or anything else with our lectors devices and whatnot. That's a different story. That's more like capsulated system. So I think we will come to that one. It'll be case by case. I was just thinking, just to kind of separate the two. For this one, we just do the other stuff, OCR. We if we need to support or help, it's one thing, but we're not stepping in to take anything in that space. And so we can march towards that. Just for the broader team, I think we can come back to the OCR in general and see what's these applications are, and again, it'll be case by case, just to wrap this one up.
Yeah, the other thing that I've seen or heard from our UPS team is another big system that a lot of people seem to be interested in is our TMMS, the Trailer Management Manifest System.
Right.
Especially within the 3PL world, Amazon requires what's the term that we use? We use an agent scan, an origin scan. So our TMMS actually provides that requirement for a 3PL to ship via Amazon and meet their shipping criteria. So as soon as we, or as soon as a company scans the system into the TMMS and it goes on a truck, we count that as an origin scan. UPS uploads that and takes responsibility for that material and can show that it has been shipped, even if it's still sitting in the trailer at the company dock. So that's another one that I would recommend maybe we look into. I haven't had a lot of dealings with the TMMS, but I have seen in our list of projects that is a hot mover, and a lot of companies are looking for that visibility for their outbound shipments.
Okay. So that's from a system perspective, and seems to be trending at UPS and maybe others. That would be something we can step into. And I remember talking to Dale about it. I need to come back to it and look at that and see how do we prepare. If they have it all captured and contained, that's one thing. But it sounded like one of these potential activities where we step in and support the LTS. So I'll come back on this one. But it's good to know and have that insight where UPS is going. That's not the one that we were going to engage with, William, right? After after they dropped that contract. Is that the one activity that Robert was pressing? Or this is different?
No, that was a different system.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't heard. That was something specific at UPS facilities. Certain doors. It? No, this would be a full-on, solution at, the UPS customers. Any facility that's shipping for Amazon. Amazon requires, an upload of this item has been shipped within a certain time frame, and the TMMS is really what drives that upload requirement for Amazon. So as soon as that package goes through their system and gets diverted to the trailer, UPS is notified it's on the trailer, and now they take ownership of it and upload it to the system, and Amazon now says, okay, you've met your requirement, you can ship with us, and they can give that information to the customer and say, hey, your order has been shipped and it is currently in UPS's hands and is in transit to your location. Another thing that customers can do with that is, as soon as that TMMS gets uploaded to Amazon, they can actually bill the customer for that item because it has officially been shipped. So another plus that companies are seeing with the TMMS is they can bill sooner for the goods that they've sent out.
Okay.
So it helps with their cash flow and getting their books right. So it's kind of a win-win for a lot of these smaller 3PL companies or even larger 3PL companies.
Okay. All right. No, that's very good. Yeah, those are the things when you're talking whether it's Amazon or UPS, it's different. I mean, this is all great what we're doing, but then when you have these orders, you're talking like a massive number of systems, and that's we seem to have some of those. And then now we're getting closer or engaged with some of these activities, which is a good thing. So the idea here, and I wanted to throw this one out there, is as you guys are delivering on these projects and working closely with our internal teams, they're learning more and more about our capabilities, and they're getting more and more comfortable, and they're coming forward and saying, hey, we want you to help us out, we're happy with what you do, and so on. I mean, William, you've been very instrumental with pushing this forward. Look where we are right now, alongside with the sales guys and my US team, the CSG group through my US projects and CorrectRx. And now we're talking more and more. Same thing. I mean, you guys, everyone else is tied directly to the end user or the end customer as we deliver the projects, and similarly internally. So there's no one way, there's different formats and different methodologies to go about it. So the ask is keep building on your relationships with these with the guys that you're interfering with. We often are pulled in to do something. It might be a little something, I'm not underestimating anything here, but it could be a little 1 to 2 hour testing, or it could be a week worth, whatever it is. The idea is keep building on that one, because once the sales guys and team see what can we bring in, it's the more it helps and the more they bring us forward to these projects, so or to these customers. It's working out on all fronts. I mean, PCA right now see us as a internal trusted advisor, and they're coming forward and passing projects to us. So for example, we have this one project, we literally just learned about it yesterday, and it right now we have the capacity, we can support it, we can react quickly, and we're building that momentum, and we're building that process and methodology with them. But what I'm trying to say is it's working, and now it's reflecting, and we're seeing this coming together. And whether from sales or PCA or even from customers, right? They want to do repeat business with us. So thank you for what you're doing. Please be open-minded to different ways. And if you want to pull me into any of these discussions, please do. I get you on these meetings or introductions, like with the sales. I'll keep you in the loop there, like the one we did last time with the CPM Pro team. We have some upcoming with the Salesforce. For those of us who are available at the times, I want you to attend, and also take proactive approach and step up. And there might be things you say, hey, there's this opportunity with so and so at the sales team, and we can step in. So again, let's be creative about it and proactive. And then we're gonna be pulling in and calling on you guys on, if we zoom into this CSG group, there's a play for us on multiple ones. So we just named that one with my US, where we can come in and do the integration, help with that configuration for the ICR or that camera tunnel. That's one. Corrector X, there's a play there. The Amazon ones, and I'll let Daniel step in and talk about those here in a minute. And then there's just one that came up also with Amazon in a lab environment. And the list continues. And I know you, Charlie, also working alongside on robot guidance applications and activities, and that's also growing. So we're out there. We're kind of scattered. The ACS, there seem to be with the auto coding for Mohammed and Abdul. We just got a purchase order for one of these customers, and then we could be there's an opportunity to go in and shadow Barry from ACS to learn more and get hands-on experience with auto coding. So it's all coming together. What I'm asking is, this view here, we want to keep this up to date as much as possible, and also the breakdown of this, the one pager, and keep that updated. And we can help you with that between William and myself. Daniel, you've done some of those. We're looking up for each and every one to kind of keep that updated and ask all the questions and be proactive about that approach. So we've got about 20 minutes here. I got another call coming up, but I'd like for Daniel to talk about the projects we have in front of us, especially that one that Sunil passed to us yesterday. And then William, if we can do alongside, as Daniel is walking through, if we can look up at least next week or two, where's the team at, and then make sure everybody kind of knows what's going on and what are if they have any questions about ADP. So let's use the remaining time for that very quick, and before we wrap up.
Okay.
And I wanna allow the team, just there's a lot of content here, and this is good stuff. But sorry, Daniel, does anyone have a question or a comment or concern just before we get into the remaining projects? Most of you are mute, so if you want to say something or if you have anything, please go ahead. Okay. If not, then Daniel, yes, please go ahead, Daniel.
Okay, so Sunil from PCA, he approached us yesterday for another project that they need help with, and it's for Amazon. It's a forex labeling system that will be installed in a lab for Amazon, a test lab, and this will be the first system, the pilot system, but eventually they will roll it out and there will be more of these systems going in. So the first system must be installed the 19th of April, or the week of the 19th of April, and it will be 2 conveyors which will be delivered to site with an ICR camera for top reading of the barcode. And there will be a print and apply, 2 print and applies going in, but that will be done by an integrator, and that's for the future. It's not for the there won't be a sick equipment for taking it, but we need to read the barcode, supply the details through the print and apply. It's a very straightforward system, nothing too much about it. So that's one opportunity what's coming up now in April. And then the AFEX systems, they got the go-ahead to complete those. There's, I think it was a total of 15 systems what was installed end of last year. And it's not 100% complete and signed off with the customer. That's also gonna happen now in later in April and in May. The Apex is already up there. Apex. So they're gonna finish up those and hand over that to the customer. And they want to complete that by the end of May, and that will be also a couple of weeks on site, depending on the schedule with CorrectRx and the Forex labeling system for Amazon. We will work in between of those. I think that's that, Sonny.
All right, Daniel, quick question for you. So the Amazon labeling system, how many hours do you think we're going to do for that, and what weeks would you theoretically expect those to happen?
That will be the week of the 19th of April. So that's kind of week 16. And it will be 2 people on site for, I think it's 3 days or 4 days.
Yeah, with travel, you'll probably be roughly around 40 hours per week. So. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to we will be, I don't think it will be 80 hours because it won't be the full week on site. So I would think it would be like 64 hours max.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what about the Apex systems? You said they wanted those done by the end of May?
Yeah, but that's, like Sunil said, that's priority number 3 for us to be involved in, depending if how the Forex labeling system goes and the CorrectRx, because that's the more important 2 systems. And if we've got then time and it's not overlapping with those, we will work on the Apex system.
Gotcha.
Yeah, well, that might be a week or 2 what I might be working there. So maybe that last week or yeah, maybe there. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know last I heard, I think we were looking at the equipment arriving that last week of May, so there might be some upfront stuff, but you know, for forecasting, we'll just keep it at a high level of 2.5 weeks.
The planning what PCA has got for CorrectRx is to do that 23 May install in Savage, and then that 6th of June install at CorrectRx. So it's a week on.
Right. And CorrectRx came back and said that they have those 60 new facilities going live at the end of May, and they don't want us to take the time to put it up in our warehouse and then ship it to them. They want it put together at their facility. So we're working through that. So the time frame that you've seen might change a little bit. Like I said, Monday, I was told that, Eric was told to, get this nailed down and finalize the schedule. So we should be hearing about that no later than Monday when we have our weekly team call.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
Will
okay.
you include me on that?
Yeah, I can invite you to that. I mean, we talk about every project, but it might be a good point for you to get pulled in and get caught up on that one.
Okay.
Thanks.
So that's good for this one. Yeah, for the sake of forecasting, this is whether it's on site or at Savage. I think that's good. That's what we kind of agreed with PCA, that breakdown 2.5 weeks. So that's good. That the timing might change, shift up or down, maybe backward, but that's okay. What else do we have, at least for the billable projects? Did that cover it, Daniel? on your end?
That's
Okay.
that, and then that's the Amazon Apex system, the second last one there. We don't know what's the
Yeah. Well,
what's the timing, and as Sunil said, as soon as he's has the schedule complete for that, we can
Yeah.
see how I can fit in there.
Okay. All right. That's good. And yeah, the Magna one is I think Charlie, you're heading next week to Detroit, correct?
Yes, I'm actually heading on Sunday. So we're going to be working with Classic, and also we're going to be visiting FCA down to work with their plug to these systems. They need to install a camera in the robot so they can make it dynamic. So that's what we're going to do next week.
Okay. So do you so for Classic, are we talking like a couple days? Should we put like 20 hours with travel, or?
Yeah, yep. We're just gonna check up on them because they need to finish up on their programming side because they're working on the robot side and the vision is ours. So we're just gonna check up on them and see if they need any help from us. If they actually need some help, we're just gonna provide any help. But the main focus is gonna be on FCA, be installing the plug city.
So William, I would put just about 20 hours for Magna for next week for Charlie, please. Okay.
Yeah, that will
because
be
the FCA will not.
Yeah, it's scheduled for Wednesday, so it might be done one day, me and Nick, but it could also take maybe a day and a half. It depends on how it goes. So
That's
I would
okay.
say maybe 2 days. Yeah.
Yeah, this is with travel, so that's right about 20 is okay. What else we
Are we billing Magna for that, or are we doing an internal cost center for that?
No, that we have a PO for that one. That's the one we have to check how many hours left. I think we still have a few like a week or so. But no, we have a PO for it. It's a billable, William.
Roger that.
What else is happening in April? Well, let me for the if we step back just this week, we are in the current week. Did we capture that in there? The what you guys did at Brady move? Okay, 40. The one that I'm not certain is the Alcon. I don't think we started charging. I'm copied on that, so we might want to remove that and push it, yeah, to April. It should be happening in April. I'll double check with with Gary. Okay, Brady, was it 40 hours, Daniel and Terry? I thought it's more.
40 hours on site, and then travel also.
So what do we got? 60 with both of you?
Yeah, yes, it's 50, so 60 hours.
Okay. LA. Is that you, William, there? Okay, that's
Yeah, but that's not billable. That's got to come down here.
Yeah. Okay. 3 days with the travel?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. What else we got? Okay. Abdul, as you look at your April schedule, is that current for Mercedes?
Yes, Halim, this should be the most recent.
Okay. All right. Sumitomo, Amazon. Okay. Are we missing anything for the next few weeks?
Hey, Salim. I also have a visit to VP in Jersey. There will be you can help with POB system and N35 camera. So we're just waiting on confirmation, but I'm thinking I'm going to be there for about 3 days, starting to the 12th.
Okay, that should be internal, right? That should be. So I would put that as internal.
Yeah, they need some training and some basics regarding the POV system, so I'll be helping them out with that. And I think also Wayne Catman's going as well.
Okay, you said 3 days.
3 days, yeah.
Okay, good. Anything else for the team that you are working on, at least in the near future, that it's not plotted in here? William, is all your stuff in there for the reports and everything else?
Yeah, and we've also got a couple of them on here that are forecasted that we don't have POs for. So I know
Okay.
there's a couple. I mean, UPS is really excited about these analysis, and you know, they're using it to push a lot of projects. So every week I'm brought into calls talking about you know, potential site analysis that we can perform.
Okay, that's good. All right, if we're good with this, let's save it, please, and look up the mosaic. I want to show the rest of the team what all this means now. And you guys, and this is open for us. I don't think we're locking this down. So you should be able to go and look this up. It's under our dashboard for the I don't think we have it locked down. If we do, we can open it up at least for viewing for the team. Yeah. So we can
Okay. Yeah, I've got the entire KPI side locked down to certain people. Yeah,
okay.
I'll open it up for viewing here.
Perfect. Thanks. So let's show the team what does that look like and what we're trying to do here. So this is our utilization. This is what we measured against every month. And then you look at the legend there and the let's take March, for example, and or let me do it easier for January. So there's this 6 bars, and if you look at the legend there, the light color starting from left to right, that one is prod 1 forecast. That's what we plug in and we forecast for each and every month based on what we know, and that's the billable project. The next one would be the productivity one actual. So that's like the a darker blue, and that's actually what we land. This is one when we're through with the month, and this would be the outcome of that month. So that would be what we actually did. So forecast, then actual, and then there's the target. The darker blue there is where we need to be. So if we're looking at February, where William is walking us through, we forecasted 22% for productivity 1. We landed at 21, so we were just one point off, and we needed to be at 29. So we're off by 8 points. Okay, and same thing applies for the internal or productivity 2. So productivity 2, just a refresher, it's all the billable projects, so that percentage plus everything we do internally, things we're doing at San Francisco office, demo, things we're doing with other sales, and we charge their cost centers. It's something charged internally, not to the customers. And the same thing, we
It's
forecast.
pretty much everything not charged to SNSI or the DTC. So if you think of it, Prod 1 is an external job. Prod 2 is everything not charged to our cost center.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, William. And then if we look at so January and February, we're on Prod 1, we're close. We the forecast, you see, it's most of the time it's pretty accurate, and we like when the actual exceeds the forecast, right? If you look at January, we thought we would be at 21, we came at 25.2. We love when that happens. Still 2 points off from the target being 27, but it's okay. If we're looking at March, and then we don't have the actuals yet. I think the actuals should be right around what we forecasted. So if we look at March, William, we say we forecast at 41, and we are, I don't know if the data is back yet. If not, we're hoping that'll be close to that. But look at the target is 34. So we're expecting in March that we will beat the target. That's the ultimate goal. And then same thing should apply for productivity too, but we're forecasting a 55%. We need to be at 79, so we're a little bit up. The key is we always want more on productivity 1 because those are the billable projects. And for March, I think we're looking good. At least that's what the data is showing us. April, we need to be at 64. We're at 29, so we're off there. But this is again just to give you a glance of what this, how is this interpreted. But it's all reflected based on what each one of us is doing, whether it's on an internal project or billable, and that's the KPIs. Okay. So you will have access to this. At least you can view it. It's always critical to capture the times to the right buckets. So if you have any questions there or you're not sure on an activity you're supporting where it needs to be charged to, please, ask William and myself, and let's do it, proactively before Friday, especially if it's for that week. We can with the forecast, what we're doing is we're looking forward, where are we plugged in, what's coming up, and then we will proactively again provide you the sales order number and all the ADP information, so you don't have to worry about that. But sometimes when we have projects coming in late or like an overnight, just ask all these questions and we'll help support it. So I'm good on my side. I need to get going here in a minute. Any last minute comments or questions?
Yes, Salim, I just want to bring something up very quick and remind you that there are some leftover hours on 2 projects. So just keep that in mind in case you want to utilize those in some way. I'm referring to the one of the trainings from Mercedes, the assembly training, and the TDC project. So I think the TDC will have somewhere around 5 hours, but the other one would have plenty of hours left over. So just an FYI.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Send me and William a note, please, for those, Abdul, and then we'll let you know which week, especially if we have to close those on the books and make sure we got all these hours confirmed. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, sure, no problem. I think my phone is working on closing the TDC, and it still has 5 more hours. So I'll send you an email here shortly.
Yeah, I think that one is pretty easy. You can like this week, if you were not doing training, just pick which day and claim those 5 hours so he can do the invoicing.
Okay.
For the Mercedes, let's take a closer look, and we want to cross-check with Angelina, make sure that we're aligned on the hours there.
Okay, no problem. Thank you, Salim.
Yep. Okay. Anybody else? All right, team. If not, we will. Sorry, is that echo or somebody's trying to say something? Okay. So, yeah, with that, let's wrap it up. Thank you all for all your efforts. If you got any questions or comments, please send it out. And have a great rest of the day, and have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Salim. Same as well.
Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye-bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye.